thank you, Alan. Oh, you did a lot of research for that.
It was worth it.
My talk tonight is just basically a lot of thank yous. There's a few other things mixed in, but I'm truly humbled to be inducted into the Eureka High Athletic Hall of Fame. I want to thank the committee for the work that they do, not just because they nominated me, but I mean, look what we're sitting here with. All these guys tonight, I mean, I don't know that I can come up this high compared to everyone else. I try to kind of like fly under the radar. But according to Alan, it doesn't work. I went to the golf course yesterday and everybody's saying, hey, congratulations. Congratulations. I looked at Alan and I said, thanks a lot, buddy. Family is important to me. And right now I'd like to introduce my family. My wife of 49.33 years, Linda. This is a tradition. Any athletic awards banquet, she gets flowers. My son Brian, he's up there. And his wife Brandy, who amazingly enough is back at our house, kind of watching over my mother-in-law. So she wasn't able to come up. She kind of gave her turn up so that Linda could be here. Both Brian and Brandy were Eureka High School class of '89. My son Daniel, Eureka High, 1992. And his wife April. Some more thank yous. The people that kind of helped me along the way. Number one, my mother, for 91 years. 49 years as a single parent. She was amazing.
Wow.
And wow, I'll tell you, this guy was unbelievable. He is why I'm here today. Henry Hank Yamagata. Some of the old people will remember him, but he coached me at Southwark High School. And when my dad passed away when I was a sophomore, he kind of took me under his wing and took care of me. And just a few Hank stories. Started out after I went through CR and went down to San Jose State for a year before I came back to Humboldt. I had a gymnastics, majors class at San Jose State. And we had a tremendous gymnastics program at Southwark. Little school, but I mean, we had rings, we had parallel bars, we had horizontal bar, trampoline, tumbling. And at that time, he moved down and was coaching at Terra Linda High School in Santa Fe. So I called him up and I said, hey, Coach, can you help me? I need some help in my gymnastics skills. So I went up, he took me down to the gym. I went up a couple times, and he helped me on the horizontal bar, getting giants going, different things, and it really helped me in my program at San Jose State. And the other part was that when I was coaching track, he would come to our subsection meets, I remember at Marin JC, and he'd always come to the section meets at UC Berkeley, Edwards Stadium, and he'd sit with me and watch the track kids. So, he was an amazing man, and I really appreciate it. He's why I'm here today. Other people that helped helped out, and I'm going to go kind of in the order. Pete Matheson, basketball coach at College of the Rivers. Stan Morrison, basketball coach at San Jose State. At Humboldt. And I'm going to give a story about Nick here in a minute. But Franny Givens was my advisor and kind of my mentor there at Humboldt. And then Sid Kinzer. I worked with Sid for 2 years in the training room. And then one summer, I painted the training room. You can imagine, I mean, the training room is white. And you're up doing everything white, and it's just like it glows. It's hard to see if you painted it or if you haven't, you missed it. Jim Hunt. Jim was the cross-country and track coach at Humboldt. All right, and I was a student assistant track coach under Jim for 2 seasons. And also, I got to drive the van. You know, at CR, I got to drive the van also. And Pete said, you know, you're the best manager in the world, but you're the worst driver. And that's only because I refused to run red lights. Ed Kennedy, he was my master teacher at Winship. So we're working up, that was 1970, 71. And he got me a job here at Eureka City Schools. So I got a job down in Marysville. I taught for a year. Didn't make a lot of money. And then the next summer, Ed goes and he said, hey, there's an opening at Eureka. He says, I'm going to put your name in. He says, I'll give you a good word. And I ended up getting that job at Eureka High and stayed with the Eureka City Schools for 35 more years. And, you know, Ed, you know, he just was a special person. And, you know, you hear that thing that it's not what you know, it's who you know. That's it. Also, I'd like to thank the Eureka High athletic directors that I got to work under, Warren Smith, Bob Bottomany, Jack Lakin. Really appreciate the help there. Head coaches in football, Dan Bald, Jack Lakin. Basketball, Bob Bottomany, Jack Lakin, Alan Battle. And I also want to thank all of the assistant coaches that worked under me or with me or alongside of me. You know, you're a special part of my life. Also want to thank all of the teachers that helped me along the way. Driver education, state requirements, art, physical education. You know, at one time, I think it was, Daniel was a freshman, Brian was a senior. I had 5 different classes in 4 different rooms. So I won't tell the story about going from room to room with a shopping cart. Right now, I'd like to make a personal request and a special thank you to some people out in the audience. So, would you stand or remain standing if you taught with me, you coached with me, if I taught you or I coached you, and if you officiated track while I was coaching track. I want to thank you over and over and over again. I appreciate it. Okay, just a little, I don't know, it's not really a joke, about when you're a track coach and you put on a meet correctly, you have to have a whole slew of officials. So, I mean, you know, towards the middle of the season, the end of the season, I'm walking down the hall, and other teachers, they see me coming, they turn around and they go the other way. Because they know what I'm going to ask them. You know? So that's just, you know, what goes on when you are coaching track and responsible for getting officials for the meet. Yeah, talking about getting officials. One year we hosted out at College of Redwoods, because the track here was in bad shape, 2 league meets, the Lamont Invitational, which we went for years and years, the league meet, subsection meet, all at CR, and then you have to recruit officials for all of those. 2 other people I'd like to mention. Carol Ballard, she taught home economics here. Carol did all of our repair on football uniforms. You know, if they had a tear, she took care of it. Also, Carol and I started the Student Assistance Program in 1988, and it was still going when I retired. And we trained other teachers. But this was to kind of help out students that needed additional help along the way. And this wasn't just for kids that had a drug problem. It was anything. Also, Larry Hensley, who's not here tonight. But Larry was, you know, my football van buddy. Because he and I would load the van up, all the equipment. We'd take a few athletes to the football game, but never brought them home, because, you know, parents brought kids home, and, you know, when you drive them to the game and you turn around, you come back, you don't want kids in the van when you're coming home. And just, you know, probably the day that I remember, Larry and I were on the clock for 35 hours. Now, part of that was having breakfast. So we get here in the morning, 6:30, we're loading the van, getting the kids up, we're going to Medford, football game. Okay, we drive home, we take the laundry down, we're doing the laundry at night. And then we go to McDonald's for breakfast. Or, excuse me, it was, Denny's. We went down to Denny's for breakfast, and then went to the library from 8 to 5 Saturday for a CLAD workshop. Now, basically, I told the person sitting next to me, I said, hey, if I doze off, I'll give you the elbow. And probably get down towards the end, you know, I can safely say that if you coached here at Eureka High School, you travel more than any other high school in the state. Because we go on football, basketball, track and field, you're going everywhere. One year for track and field, one season, because when you have good athletes, these are kids that went to the state, you know, you have to find good competition for them. So we went to Santa Rosa Relays, Chico Invitational. We went to Berkeley twice, once for the Oakland Invitational and one for the section meet. We also went to Livermore for the subsection meet, Las Gatas for the K-Bell Classic, and Stanford Invitational. So, I mean, that's a lot on the road. And then we went to, to Cerritos JC down in LA for the state meet. And, you know, my wife and I kid about this every so often, that, you know, if track had gone one more week, she may have not been home when I got home. But she stuck with me. All right, getting down to the end. So talking about all that travel, you know, personally for me, and I think for most of the coaches, were 35 years of accident-free driving in California, Oregon, and Nevada. And that, I mean, it's, you think about all those miles and staying accident-free. That's pretty special, means to me. From the beginning in 1970 to the end in 2007, food. I was blessed with the best job in the world. I loved it, bar none. And before you leave tonight, if there are any Booster Club members around, I want you to thank them for all that they do. And if you can, give them money, write them a check, join the Booster Club. You know, even if you're retired, join the Booster Club, help them out. And from that, where's Peteroo? Pete Lee? Oh, there you are. How'd I do, Pete? Who won the bet?
Alan.
They had an over and under bet going as far as how long it's going to take me to cheer up. So thank you, Eureka High, and go Loggers.